Good morning, my dears. I wonder if I could get one grown-up. See how fast that happened? We have a minister, but everything else is just crowdsourced, my friends. We make it happen. Just that's stewardship part 2 right there is what that is. So now is a time in our service where anyone of any age can come and join me up front if they would like to see a little bit better. I always like to see a little bit better. That's one of the reasons I come to church, so I can see a little bit better. And that's important. It's especially important when things are hard. Our middle schoolers have been talking a little bit about the difference between faith and optimism, because optimism is really kind of a prediction, right? Like we did a trust walk a couple of weekends ago, and it kind of starts with like, oh, okay. I choose to be optimistic that you're not going to walk me into a tree right now, right? But optimism can sometimes be proven to be incorrect. It can get squashed kind of flat. And then from a deeper place, sometimes we're able to have faith, and that's what gives rise to real hope, like capital H hope. So I wanted to share a story with you today that has a little bit to do with two people finding hope when it's tricky, and it's called What We'll Build, and it's by Oliver Jeffers. You might have read some other stories by Oliver Jeffers. So it goes like this. What shall we build, you and I? Let's gather all our tools for a start. Tools are important. Everyone on the building and grounds team knows that. For putting together and taking apart. Let's build a door where there was none. Which I do think that's hope in action right there, my friends, because usually we don't start with the door. Yeah. We'll build a house to be our home. I'll build your future and you'll build mine. We'll build a watch to keep our time. We'll build some love to set aside and build a hole where we can hide. I hope there's going to be a door on that hole. It's another good place for a door. A fortress to keep our enemies out and higher walls for when they shout. But you don't always lose and you don't always win, so we'll build a gate to let them in. We'll build a table to drink our tea and say, I'm sorry. Me too. Me 3. We'll build a tower to watch the sky and other worlds that pass us by. Let's build a tunnel to anywhere. Let's build a road up to the moon, which we have done recently. Let's build a comfy place to rest, for we'll be tired soon. Let's build a boat that can't be broken, that will not sink or be cracked open. It's easier said than done. A place to stay when all is lost, to keep the things we love the most. So are they anywhere near that big, beautiful house that they built together? No, things have changed quite a bit. You know, it's not really clear what happened because sometimes our journeys take us in many places. Have you ever had to move away from a home before to a different home? Maybe you were too young to remember that happening? Yeah. I have moved away to a different home. I have moved away to a different church a lot of times as I moved to different homes around the country. That's one of the things I really love about having a church is that I can always move to a new city and then say, okay, so which UUs are here? It's a pretty fun question. We'll put these favorite things beside the earlier love we set aside. Notice there's a pig on that shelf. Do we think maybe it's Jet Pig? Maybe? We've got yeses and nos. All answers are possible. I think that we may want them later when times are hard and needs are greater. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever really used a life preserver in the snow, Snow is a slow-mo flood, right? Like it doesn't look like a flood until it melts, and then you're like, uh-oh. But first things first, let's build a fire, for we've planned a lot, and now we're tired. And notice, are they alone at the fire? No, and it seems like even some of the people that they were in conflict with before are there now. And even the squid that was watching their boat power through those waves is like, I could hang. Oh, it's an octopus, actually. I'm sorry. The biologists out there were about to correct me, and that's fair. It'll keep us warm, like when we're born. Then we'll say goodnight as all's all right. You know, it seems like maybe they fell asleep around the campfire. I do not traditionally sleep on snow, do you? No, it's not my primary preferred place to sleep. Although I do have a camping cot in my office because I end up sleeping here for overnights kind of a lot. And when I do, I'm glad to have a cot. Snow is comfy. Yeah, you could do like people in Harbin province do in China, and you could build whole structures and furniture out of ice. They have a big festival every year. We could try that. See, Gobi's optimism is failing him, but it's possible that we could find a deeper faith that could happen. These are the things we'll build, you and I. I do think it's interesting how there's really nothing there around that campfire but the two of them, and yet they still feel content. I think that's pretty interesting. So at this time, as we continue to wonder about this story, which I will leave here on the stool in case anyone wants to see it during coffee hour, we will sing our way out to our religious exploration small groups together.
Thank you for that beautiful music and that beautiful prelude. Wow, that was extraordinary. My name is Joe Jenks. I'm a Unitarian Universalist. I am many more things than that. I was raised Catholic. I practice Buddhism. I'm probably one of the few people you'll meet who probably consistently makes the sign of the cross as I enter Buddhist meditation. But it comes out of childhood. My mother said, God is busy. If you need something from God, you dial God's phone number, say your piece, and then hang up the phone. And it was an interesting way to interpret prayer for a young person, but I liked it. And she said, God's phone number is this. And that was in early Catholic education, the very invitational way that my mother invited us as young people into the notion that we had a right to have a relationship with the divine. We didn't need an intercessor. We didn't need another person. Anytime we had a need, we were scared, we were happy, we could just dial that phone number and say our piece. But be sure to hang up the phone when you're done, because God's busy. She's got a lot going on, you know? I've taken that early theological and religious training, and I've carried it with me through my life. And when I found Unitarian Universalism in college for the first time, it was in a small college town in central Illinois. It was dry as toast with nothing on it. It was another social science lecture, and I was absolutely full of that at school. I didn't need more of it. It took me almost another decade to enter another Unitarian Universalist congregation. And at that point, I experienced what I could only describe as charismatic UUism. I experienced music and engagement and enthusiasm and talk of the expansiveness of spirit, both ours and that which we may attribute to the divine. And it led me into an exploration of the many ways in which I had thrown the baby out with the bathwater when I walked away from organized spiritual communities. And it allowed me to understand that there was a place in these communities for the gifts that I have. So much so that after 12 years on the road, I went to seminary for a semester at Meadville Lombard in Chicago, where I determined briefly in my time there that I was suffering the illusion that the administrative side of ministry would be any more appealing to me than the administrative side of the music industry. I realized I was wrong. The grass is always greener somewhere else, and I was summarily dismissed from seminary by a very thoughtful professor. He taught a course called Theater Arts and Ministry, and he said, I think you need someone else's permission to do the work that you do. In our tradition, you don't. We value the work that you do as it is. Sit with that for a minute. I value the work that you do as it is. It is a source of hope for me, and I am quite sure a source of hope for people inside this congregation and people in the community. When we put up a flag or put up a steeple or put up a sign, when we show the chalice, it is a symbol that says this is safe space. What safety is for one person or another is different. We will inevitably make mistakes as we try to create safe space, and we will keep reaching for the grace to hold that space with each other. There is hope in the effort to create safe space, no matter how imperfectly we do it. And when we choose to enter the world after we leave here, we carry that with us. We engage in a practice of hope. There was a man very dear to me who died recently, one of the stewards of the volunteer community at the Kerrville Folk Festival. And when I was training more than 20 years ago to be on festival security one summer, he said in this beautiful, lifelong Texan accent, now I have to describe Vern Crawford. He had a beard that came down to here and little gold-rimmed glasses and a felt hat that I do believe he'd been wearing since the festival started in 1972. He was about that tall. He says, now, Joe, now don't think of yourself as festival security. Think of yourself as proactive hospitality. How many things can we change in the world if we take the hopefulness of the safe spaces that we try to create and choose to enter the world in a spirit of proactive hospitality? Gerald Torres is a climate justice and environmental lawyer. He said this in a seminar that I went to at a music conference, and he and I talked a great deal afterward. He said, envision the world as you would like to see it, and then engage in a discipline of hope as you work toward your goals. People say hope is fallow. Hope is nothing. What can you accomplish with hope? If hope is the thing that gets you out of bed in the morning or out of the house, if hope is the thing that allows you to pick up a phone call, answer the phone, make a proactive phone call, if hope is the thing that allows you to be kind to other people or ask for help when you need it, hope is not a fallow thing. Hope is everything. But an artist that I respect deeply who lives in Minneapolis, just blocks away from where so much horrific activity has been going on and so much hopeful actions of protest and witnessing all at once. Ricardo Levins Morales said to me, of the two, hope or commitment, I think commitment is the greater of them. Hope can fail, but commitment will carry you through those times until you find hope again. I think both are true. It seems an interesting contradiction. Two liberation leaders that I know and adore. One says hope, one says commitment. But I think we need both. We have 2 feet. Within reason, we walk bipedal as we are able through the world, figuratively or literally. And we can be nuanced enough people to hold many truths simultaneously. But I do appreciate Ricardo's idea that hope and commitment go hand in hand. That hope without commitment is going to lose some days. And commitment without hope simply becomes drudgery. We need both. One of the people that taught me the most about hope and about engagement is a music teacher named Dorothy Page Turner. She was my preschool and kindergarten and first grade music teacher, an African-American woman who grew up outside Little Rock. And during the early days of the civil rights movement of the 1960s, she had to decide what she wanted to do as a young black woman to make a difference in the world. And she went to school to study music and to become a music educator. She felt like if she could put the power of creativity in the hands of young people and let them write the songs and write the stories and be present in the world proactively through the arts, that she could bend that arc more in the direction of justice than by simply taking to the streets. She did both, but she is still singing at nearly 80 years old, a wonderful jazz singer. And when I was in late middle school, she began a project called the Black Theater Ensemble in my hometown. And then she contacted my mother and invited me to be a part of it, the only Caucasian member of the Black Theater Ensemble. And then she proceeded to hand me pieces of script that were incredibly difficult. To be a slave auctioneer, to be someone who would represent in some of these narratives the voice of oppression, and then simultaneously represent the voice of liberation in other parts of the show. And one evening, after a rehearsal at a theater in my hometown in Rockford, Illinois, there was a moment of extraordinary power, and for me, devastation, as we had run through a scene 5 times where I was asked to take on the role of being an auctioneer for persons who were enslaved. And I sat down on the edge of the stage, and I began to weep. It was more than a 15-year-old knew how to contain stoically. And she came over to me, and she put one hand over my sternum and one hand on my shoulder. And she said, "We have asked you to do an incredibly difficult thing so that we as an ensemble can tell a story of liberation and a story of the oppression that has happened. And this is an essential part of the story. It's a pivotal piece of the story to make this visceral and real for other people. We've asked you to do an incredibly difficult thing. But no one here is confused about who you are. You are witnessed. You are seen as an ally, as a friend, and as a rightful member of this ensemble." And one by one, the cast came over and they placed a hand on my shoulder, on my back, or were touching somebody who was touching me, and it became a moment that was quite literally like a biblical laying of hands. In a show that we eventually took into churches all over northern Illinois and southern Wisconsin and brought into community theaters. I stayed with the ensemble into my freshman year in college, and it remained a transformative experience. But the reason it was transformative is because through theater, we engaged in a discipline of hope. And for me, the most pivotal moment was when she said to me, "No one here is confused about who you are." If you take the idea that Vern Crawford introduced to me about proactive hospitality, and you take Dorothy Page Turner's words about being able to witness to the truth of someone's humanity in front of you, I think we now have a set of tools that allow us to enter the world, taking what we gain when we come into our safe spaces and bring it back into the world. We have the ability to engage both in commitment and hope as parallel practices. And we have the opportunity to witness other people. Even when the world around us may be confused about that person, we have the invitational opportunity to see that person and decide that we're not going to be confused about who they are. This is a song that I wrote for some young friends of mine, initially thinking about some young friends of mine in the queer communities. But I realized as I sang the song in the world that there are elements of this song that apply to all of us in different ways. It's called Let It Breathe. Lay down your weapons. Love has you surrounded. There is no easy way out. Lay down your shield. Let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. You go through the world, everybody's sweetheart, keeping up a front that wears you down. But in a quiet moment, the truth comes out. Some days you feel like you're about to drown. So lay down your weapons. Love has you surrounded. No easy way. There is no easy way out. Lay down your shield, let your heart break. Lay down your shield, let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. There is no reason to play this charade. You can be loved for who you are. Troubled thought that crosses your mind, please know that you are someone else's shining star. So lay down your weapons. Love has you surrounded. No easy way. There is no easy way out. Lay down your shield, let your heart break. Lay down your shield, let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. What do you need? By what measure would you know that you are more than what you achieve? When you look in the mirror, is it possible to see that you are enough? So let it breathe. And lay down your weapons. Love has you surrounded. There is no easy way out. Lay down your shield. Let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt. And lay down your shield. Let your heart break just a little. Let love remove all doubt.
My name is Deirdre McCalla, and I am really honored to be invited to participating in your service this morning. I must admit to being feeling a little bit like a fish out of water, because for the last 30 years, I've been attending Atlanta Friends Meeting, which is a Quaker meeting, and it's done in silence. So all this talking is really different. But like Joe, I was raised Catholic, and I really like that concept of the sign of the cross being speed dial, you know, for God. In Atlanta, there's the Martin Luther King Center, and whenever people would come to visit, it was, we have to go there. I had to take you there. And a few blocks up from there is the house that Martin grew up with, his family home that the National Park Service runs. And one of the favorite stories they like to tell when people are visiting is that when Martin was growing up, his family tradition was that for Sunday, before the meal, each child had to recite a verse from the Bible before they could eat. And young Martin, when it was his turn, took the shortest verse in the Bible that he could find, which is John 11:5, and would piously lower his head and say, "Jesus wept." So my comments won't be quite that brief today, but they will not be long. I am not alone in this present time in waking up every single morning feeling the weight of living in a world that is totally messed up. And that's an astute political, analysis phrase. Totally messed up. And it probably doesn't help that I do start every morning listening to a set of podcasts that is Heather Cox Richardson, Rachel Maddow, if it's a Tuesday morning that I'm waking up, and The Daily from the New York Times. And perhaps when my feet hit the ground, I'd be in a sunnier disposition if I didn't dial in the world so immediately. But I feel like I have to know what I'm waking up into. What else has been totally messed up while I was fitfully sleeping? What fresh hell is this today? I came of age through the progressive gauntlet of the civil rights movement, the anti-Vietnam War protests, the rise of contemporary feminism, the rise of the struggle for LGBTQ rights. We have all seen a tremendous amount of change in our lifetime. And sometimes I get a little OCD and want to tally up. What have I concretely contributed in this time to those movements? I marched. I voted. I contributed time, energy, and money to those causes as my resources allowed. I had many, many conversations with like-minded, leaning people as we supported each other in our quest for change. And sometimes it seems like a really puny list of tangible achievements. But what we have all done and what we need to continue to do is to hold on to our values, to contribute to the growth of what poet Adrienne Rich has named the climate of perception, to redefine how we see and what we see in the world and how we are seen in it. I went to a theatrical presentation last month on the life and work of Black American poet June Jordan. And there was one piece that the ensemble did that really just struck me, so I wanted to read it to you. From June Jordan. Activism is not issue specific. It's a moral posture that steady state propels you forward from one hard hour to the next. believing that you can do something to make things better. You do something rather than nothing. You assume responsibility for the privilege of your abilities. You do whatever you can. You reach beyond yourself in your imagination and in your wish for understanding and for change. You admit the limitations of individual perspectives. You trust somebody. You do not turn away. We're only here for a moment of time. Our individual contributions may seem small. But if we hold our hearts and minds clear to our hope and vision for a kinder, more inclusive, just world, we can change the world. We've actually been doing it for quite some time now. Keeper's clock is ticking. The moment we are born, counting out and measuring our days. We are temporary tenants. Our time here is not long. Our best to make the most of this brief stay. Believe in kindness, believe in gratitude, learn to look beyond the walls and walk in different shoes. Believe you are a part of all you see. Tempted, we know we will be scared. The challenges we face will take their toll. But we will hold on to the tenets of which our hope is steered. Embraces every fiber of our soul. Believe in kindness, believe in gratitude, learn to look beyond the walls and walk in different shoes. Believe you are a part of all you see. The chorus, this song is an affirmation. Believe in kindness, believe in gratitude, learn to look beyond the walls and walk in different shoes. Believe you are a part of all you see. Believe. I invite you, if you choose to sing along with me, either out loud or in your hearts, however it suits your spirit. First line is, believe in kindness. Believe in kindness. Believe in gratitude. Believe in gratitude. Learn to look beyond the walls. Learn to look beyond the walls and walk in different shoes. Believe you are a part of all you see. Believe you are a part of all you see. Do not harden to inequity. Don't ever close your ears against the cries. Resist
gratitude. Learn to look beyond the walls, walk in different shoes. Believe you are a part of all you see. Believe.
One more time.
Believe in kindness. Believe in gratitude. Learn to look beyond the walls, walk in different shoes. Believe you are part of all you see. Believe in kindness. Believe in gratitude. Learn to look beyond the walls and walk in